Macmillan Audio presents The Vanishing Man by Charles Finch. Narrated for you by James Langton. Chapter 1. Once a month or so, just to keep his hand in the game, Charles Lenox liked to go shopping with his friend Lady Jane Grey. On this occasion it was a warm, windy day, in early June of 1853, quiet, the gently sunny hour of late morning before the clerks would fill the streets on their way to take lunch. The two friends were next-door neighbours on tiny Hampden Lane, in the heart of London, and he was waiting on her steps at 10 o'clock precisely. At 5 past, she came out, smiling and apologising. They left, eventually turning up Brook Street and walking past the little string of streets that ran parallel to their own, talking. "Why are you checking your watch every 10 seconds?" she asked, after they had gone about halfway. "Oh, I'm sorry," said Lenox. "I've an appointment at noon." "I hope it's with someone you've hired to teach you better manners." "The joke's on you, because it's with a duke." "The worst-mannered wretch I ever met was a duke," Lady Jane said. As they crossed Binney Street, Lennox's eyes stayed for an extra moment on a man painting an iron fence with a fresh coat of black paint, whistling happily to himself. "Which one is it?" she asked. "Out of discretion, I cannot say. I call that disagreeable." Lenox smiled. "It's a case." She turned her gaze on him. It had been a long drought since his last case, more than a month. "Is it? I see." Though both considered themselves tenured veterans of London now, anyone observing them would have seen two very young people, as young and resilient as the summer day. Lenox was a tall, slender, straight-backed young bachelor of 26, bearing a gentlemanly appearance, and with, whatever Lady Jane said, a courteous manner. He was dressed in a dark suit, hands often behind his back, with hazel eyes and a short hazel beard. There was something measuring and curious in his face. As for Lady Jane, she was 5 years his junior, a plain, pretty woman of 21. Though she had been married for fully a 10th of those living days, which gave her some obscure right to self-regard for her own maturity. This told in her posture, perhaps. She had soft, dark, curling hair. Today she wore a light blue dress, with boots of a tan colour just visible beneath its hem. They had grown up in the same part of the countryside, though until he had moved to London, Lenox had never considered her part of his generation. By the time he'd noticed she was, Lady Jane had been engaged. They neared New Bond Street, where the shops began, as the church clocks chimed the quarter hour. In truth, it was not altogether customary that she went shopping quite so often as she did. In most households, like Lady Jane's, the task would have fallen to a maid, but it was one of the things that she liked, and Lenox liked it for that reason. The meeting at noon was continually on his mind, even as they walked and spoke. Lenox was a private— well, what word had he settled on? Investigator? Detective? It was a new endeavour yet. 3 years could count as new, when the field was one of your own rough and ready invention, and when success had been tantalizingly close at moments, but remained mostly elusive. A duke might well bring it close enough to hold with 2 hands. This intersection was vastly busier than their peaceful street. She stopped at the corner and looked at a list. After she had been studying for a moment, he said, "What do you need today?" "Are you going to bother me with questions the whole time?" she said.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?